Welcome to Tequila Chats. I'm Michael Altneu, and today I'm taking over to interview Ricardo Rodriguez on his keys to success and what it takes to build the #1 largest coldwell banker team in New England, Boston, Massachusetts. Ricardo has been named the #1 Latino agent in the nation, recognized as one of the top agents in the country, the powerhouse in both business and brand. He celebrates 20 years of transforming Boston's real estate landscape.
What are you talking about?
We are flipping the script.
You too. Okay, let's do it.
All right, wait, first, cheers to your interview here. All right.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
I love you very much. You know that. I love you.
Thank you.
All right. So this question is something that I think we all know a little bit about you.
Yes.
But this last year has been very, very challenging for you. You've had a lot with health and all that.
Yes.
How has that affected your business?
So it's actually an interesting question. Well, it's kind of like, shocking about what happened to me last year with the open heart surgery is that because it was congenital, I had no idea that was going on.
Yep.
And so suddenly I find myself in front of this, this issue that I need to be resolved, and it's moving so fast. And so literally from the moment in which my doctors figure out what was going on, the defect that I had in my heart, to going under the knife, it was like a month and a half. It was like 6 weeks or something like that. So it was a very, very fast. And so it really was very, unsettling. And then the whole process of having to go through something like that, and I know you experienced it recently, with a dear family member of yours, but when you find yourself in those situations, you're confronted with death. You really are. And it changes completely how you look at yourself, and it changes completely how you look at the world. And it completely changes your value system in some ways, and what, to a point, what makes you happy and what is important for you. And something that I've discovered, the way in which it's changed my business, to answer your question, is that finally I have learned that the important people in your life are everything. So in this case, obviously, Michael, my husband, my mom, my family, everybody in my team, Josh, Bethany, everybody in that team. But then people that have become like the dearest friends because of this. You have been incredible support of me entire time, but particularly the past year. But then people like Jade Mills and like Judy Zier and Jill Hertzberg and Don McKinn, and so many people that just rally behind me and were there to support me, and particularly to support Michael throughout that entire process, because I really had a rough thing going on. The first 3 months were absolute disaster, and so the team had to get on it and keep the business going. And then you guys provided Michael with this, Michael and my mother with the support to get me out of that situation. And certainly it was very hard for me to deal with facing death. But got out of that. I had a great medical team. I'm very lucky to be in Boston, a city that, that ingenuity and technology, and particularly in healthcare, is so paramount, so incredible. But what I have learned the most that really affected my business is that I don't have time for BS anymore. And I don't have time for the artifice that maybe I was able to put up with before. And so I just, I've always been fearless. I'm not a reckless, fearless person, but I've always been fearless, and I've always been bold. But I feel like now I've given myself the license to really be what I need to be in my business, and it's changed everything. When I look at, for example, just again, business-wise, just the past quarter or so, the past 3 to 4 months, and the performance that we've had has to do with that, because I came back to it thinking I have nothing to lose and I have everything to gain. And I am not going to, I don't care about the silliness, and as I said earlier, the artifice that sometimes we have to deal with, and it's really the BS that we have to, and I'm just going to go for it. And that to me has been redefining, and has allowed me to make decisions, and allows me to move the team, and to work with the team, and to advise the team, and to work with my clients even in a much different way than I did before. And so in some ways it's the best thing that happened to me. right? When you're in the middle of that, you're like,
Yeah.
this is horrible. But now that we are looking at almost a year out of that,
Yeah.
it's one of those best things that happened to me because it helped me kind of like rethink myself and redefine myself. And so I am, you know how life is, right? Life gives you, life happens for a reason. Everything happens in life for a reason.
Always.
And this happened to me for a reason. I'm a different person, but I think that I'm a better person than before. Both physically, because I feel much better, but also mentally and spiritually. And as a business person, I'm a much better person than before.
Has it been a year?
It's been almost a year, yes. In May, it's going
I
to be a year.
remember when it was going on, and yes, I actually all the time had like a three-way call with Jade, Michael, and
Yes,
myself.
yes,
Like
yeah.
I got Jade on the phone, and we were, have you heard? Have you not heard?
Yeah,
And then, I mean, we were
You guys
all
were so amazing.
I mean, we all wanted to do something,
But
and you just had to recover.
Think about that, right? That's why I love real estate so much, because real estate has given me so many things. It has given me the life that I have.
Yep.
It has given me the opportunities that I've had, but it's given me the friends that I have. And you and Jade and Jill and all,
love you.
Judy and all these people that I mentioned and more that escape, my mind are my true friends and my real family.
Well, you're extraordinarily beloved
Oh, you're to
for a reason.
Drink more
We will-
tequila. I would be
I
more
will.
beloved the more you drink.
All right, question number 2.
Yes.
I love being the host, by the way. This is fun.
Look at them.
Just temporarily.
Yeah, seriously. You have 5 minutes.
I have 5 minutes. I'm on a timer.
All right, take those coins.
Origin story. How did you start your business? What influences what you do now? And what got you here in life?
So I was an accidental agent. I didn't know I liked real estate. I didn't want to do real estate. It just never was something for me, but I had a friend who push. And then the moment in which I joined, and I joined Coldwell Banker from day one.
Yes,
I'm a
you
lifer.
did.
Yeah, 20 years this year. It changed everything for me because it was love at first sight. And what I understood about it and what I love about it is that real estate allows me to be myself. I always say that there are as many ways of doing real estate as there are people practicing it, and it's the truth. And so I am my most real in real estate. It allowed me to really kind of like dig into my skill set and my gut feeling and the things that I love and the things that I did not love and create a business that looked like nobody else's. And that to me is an incredible opportunity because there are many careers or areas in which you can do that. Maybe in the arts, right, that you could do that. Everything else there's a technicality to it and there's a way of doing certain things. But I've been able to build a business and I've been able to build a life that I never even dreamed of. The things that I do, the people that I know, the relationships that I have, they were never I never thought of them in that way. I knew that I wanted to do something great with my life and that I was in some ways motivated to do that, but real estate just opened all these doors that I never knew were going to be open for me, particularly for where I come from. No, I'm not talking about just my origin story in terms of being an immigrant and coming here, with $25 in my pocket and all this stuff. But I don't have a college degree. I am I'm not only accidental, but I'm very unlikely a person to have been able to build the little success that I have and things that I have built with my life. But it has to do, of course, with hard work in my end. It has to do with tenacity and grit. But it also has to do with the fact that real estate, it's magical in that sense. That if you really tap into it, that if you really go for it, like really, really go for it, you see the results. And I'm sure that this is the same answer you would get from anybody, from any top producer, from a Jade, from a Jill, from a Judy, from anybody, from a Don. We have exactly, from a Frank, all the same answers about how when you lean into it fully, that's how you do it. And so that's what I did. I just leaned into it. I decided that I was going to do it my way. New construction is something that I found. I didn't even know it existed.
You're so good at it.
But I went for it because I was like, I love design, I love architecture, all those things. And I was like, that's where, maybe that's a skill base for new construction. And you've heard this story. I called these real estate developers, a few of them called me back, I met with them, and then one of them called me like 6 months later, and they said, we have a building for you, and we want you to be part of this sales team. And that literally just kind of like launched my entire trajectory in terms of new construction. Wow. And here we are 20 years later, because that was on my first year. I had no business getting that, but I outperformed everybody in that sales team. Because I knew I had to. and because I wanted to, of course. But 20 years later, I'm doing now 2 projects with them that we're launching later on this year. And so these are clients, there's a family now that I've been working with now for the past 20 years. But that opened the doors to some other people. So it's been, so that origin story in terms of my career in real estate has come, it's been about that, is understanding who I am, being very true to myself, and kind of like, leaning into the things that make me me. All my quirkiness, my silliness, my whatever
quirks.
It is, it's
love
there.
my quirks.
What you see
quirks.
is there. What you see is what you get.
But you know what? You're such an inspiration to, like, you're an inspiration to me. You're an inspiration to everyone. And I think the resounding thing that I hear about you all the time is when you share your story, it gives people this sense of hope. It gives them this sense that I can maybe also reach that path too. But that's a beautiful thing, and you give of yourself so much. You teach our courses. You're in our self-paced certification video. I mean, you flew to St. Louis.
Well, you said video.
Video. I said video. I said video. Remember we flew to St. Louis?
Yeah.
Like, you did that. I mean, there is not a time when if I need something or I say I need help with something, you will always say yes.
But I gotta tell you, it's saying yes. It's a way of. It's a way of acknowledging what I've been given by this business. I don't say yes because I don't have anything else to do, but I say yes because I need to give back. I need to give back in measure to what I have received. And what I want, when I say yes, what I'm trying to do is, again, share my best practices, share my story, so that somebody else can take that and do whatever they want to do with it. They might be like, this is garbage and I don't want it, or they might grab it and say, this is important to me and I'm going to do something else with it. So to me, it's not what I do right now, because what I'm doing right now for myself is my life. This is what it is. It's what happens after me. It's what people built in my shoulders. So when I look at my team really is about that. My team really is about what can this amazing top producing agents, most of them, I've been doing the business less than I have, and so I have more experience. But what are they getting? What are they learning from me so that they can build something else? And I see it in particular in the most rewarding ways when I look at other agents, not just in my team, but across all networks that look like me, that sound like me, that maybe have a similar story like me, that now feel that they can do what I am doing. Because when I started 20 years ago, I cannot remember, maybe there was one person that looked like me that was doing something like that. And it's very different right now. And it's going to be so much more different in the next 20 years. And that to me is exciting.
Because you've helped lay the foundation for it.
Well, we are all doing a little thing.
By the way. That was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Cheers to that. This is good. And I'm normally like a white wine fan.
I know. You're going to be.
You're turning into a tequila fan.
After this. Yeah.
All right. You asked this to me, and I'm going to ask this to you. Do you remember, like, what was your tipping point? And, like, do you remember that exact moment where you knew, okay, wow, I've made it?
There have been several tipping points, I would say. I think that the thing about tipping points, I think that is interesting is that they always come plagued with, in my experience, they'll come plagued with fear and uncertainty. Like, you feel it and almost you tell yourself pull back because you don't want to shift where you are because it feels comfortable. And so I think that to me has been the most interesting lesson of all those tipping points. It's not even the tipping point itself, but it's getting to that ledge and then allowing yourself to go whichever direction you are going. That really, I think, is the biggest learning. It's the biggest lesson of that. But I had many, Certainly what happened, my health issue, my open heart surgery last year was a tipping point because it just shifted everything, the way that I looked at everything as I mentioned earlier. I think when I started my team, when I started working with Josh Carr, that was a tipping point because I had to learn that I had to trust other people to do the things that I thought I was the only person that could do them. No, it's a very, having a team is very challenging in the sense that as a solo agent, I did it for 10 years before I had anybody working with me. I was doing it my way and it was my way. And so to have other people at this point, it's 13 of us, 13 agents, including myself. So and then the marketing person and then chief of staff, all those things, all this infrastructure to be there, it's really trusting that things are going to happen the way that you want them or the way that you expect them to be. And so that to me, I think, was another tipping point. But there have been many small tippings and very big tippings. But I again, the biggest thing for me is just to learn to let go of the fear of change. Yeah. The fear of moving, of forward moving.
It's tough,
That makes
right?
sense? Yeah,
It's
it is.
tough.
It's hard. It's hard. Because you're comfy. Because you're very comfy, you want to keep it that way.
Yeah, I still struggle with that too.
Yeah,
I never can, I think we all, it's just part of who we are.
Yes. Of course, it's human nature. You want to protect yourself, but you have to let go. That's what I've learned. That's what I've learned in business. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, funny enough.
Yes.
The next question is about what have you learned? So, did you read this? Did you get a sneak peek? What have you learned from your success? So let's talk about this. Like, what are the moments that you're most proud of? Like, what are some of the what are some of your favorite clients you've worked with? Like, what have you learned from the success with all these things together?
What I have learned from my success is that that is not quantifiable by numbers, right? I could say to you, I'm the number one.
Yeah.
I run number one team in New England this year, last year, whatever, next year, whatever it is.
It's true.
But you don't know because those are market dependent.
Yeah.
So I think what I've learned is that in success there are almost like two metrics. One of them is the ones that you cannot control, like the markets like this. And so it's great to be number one, but next year you might not be because the market might not take you there, or because something happens to you and you cannot work as hard as you did, or whatever. Things happen. And so yes, those metrics are important, but those metrics are not defining. The thing that I think define you in success is how much you love what you're doing. And it's similar to your answer. It's really, I measure my success by how much I love what I'm doing and how much what I am doing makes a difference to my clients, of course, and also to the people that I'm working with. And I would say that another area that to me kind of like defines success is your ability to look back at like what I was doing, let's say 20 years ago, and see how different it is right now. And so for me to see that evolution, for me to see where I was 20 years ago, where I am right now in terms of my practice, not me personally, but the way that I do the business. Yeah. And for me to think about what my business is going to look like in the next 5 years, that to me is success.
That's the most important part. It's very hard for us sometimes to look forward.
Yes,
and to
but you have to.
You have to.
And having that opportunity to look forward is a measure of success.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. It's a gift because a lot of people, life gets you stuck on a pattern. And for you to have this opportunity to be like, oh, this is where I am. These are the things that I can shift. This is the direction that I want to go. Yeah. This is where I'm going to put resources. This is where I'm not going to put resources, where I'm going to put my time, whatever the resources are. Right. I think that is a gift, and it's a measure of that success.
It is. Funny, you also, I sometimes get caught in a rut sometimes, and I get down about something, and you always help me try to see the bigger picture too. And you always do. That's the type of person you are. But we do that for each other.
But those things getting stuck in a rut, it's not going to get you anywhere. Yeah. I think it's okay to acknowledge that you're having a bad day. Yeah. I think it's okay to acknowledge that something went wrong. Yeah. But those things don't define you. Nothing defines you, because I could tell you that in a week you won't remember what went wrong, unless it was a huge thing.
Listen.
Unless you end up in jail.
Listen.
Yeah, it's
let's
not going to be in it.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, totally. But I think most things you just don't. You won't remember, and so those things do not define you, and that's why, like you said earlier, too, when having the interview, the proper
that
interview,
I flipped on you.
Yes, those moments are learning moments.
So let's talk about a few more of these learning moments. So you asked me kind of like, we talk about failures.
Yes.
What have you learned from your failures?
What have I learned from my failures? I have learned that there are other ways to do things. And it's just really as simple as that. It really is that.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. But I would say, this is the caveat, right? I would say that there is a difference between failures and carelessness. Mm-hmm. I don't know, right?
Always.
So I would say that if you make a spelling mistake once on your email, that's a mistake. But if you keep doing it, you just don't give a S about anything, and you just don't care about your interfacing with the client. And so that to me is a difference. But things are going to happen. Things are going to happen sometimes in ways that you Don't expect them to be, and that are not the best possible way for you at that moment. But again, they don't define you, and then you get out of that what you're gonna get. And it happens.
It happens.
It happens. That's the thing. That's what I learned from failures. They happen. What are you gonna do?
So I have one last question for you, and that is, what is your key to your success?
You know, I asked this question.
I know you do. You asked this to me.
You know, I never thought about it. I never think about those things as having an answer.
Because you are incredibly
I
successful.
gotta tell you, it's a difficult question to answer.
Very difficult.
The key to success for me.
What is the key to your success?
Is grit, number one. It's not giving up. It's just going for it. That is one. Two, I think, is kindness and is generosity, right? Towards yourself, of course, but towards the people around you, towards the community in particular. If you are not a generous member of the community, if you are not a kind member of the community, what community are you going to have back to do business with, right? I put a lot into philanthropy because I want to make sure that the community, it's okay. I want to make sure that people are okay, because if they are okay, we are all okay. And as far as I am concerned in terms of my business, I have a community to go back to and sell homes to or sell homes from. And so there is a cyclical element to that outside from doing good, right? And so being kind and being generous is a key to success. Grit is a key to success. And I think that the other part that is, for me, a key to success is understanding who you are and what you bring to the table. Because the moment in which you start paying attention to what other people are doing and you start measuring yourself as based on what other people are doing, you're going to get lost or you're going to lose your edge. And so, again, yes, knowing what you bring to the table is so important. And it's what makes you unique. And it's what, in our business, is what makes people to connect with you. It really, 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 really does. And yes, I think those to me are like those three: grit, generosity, and you know what else? I think creativity.
Yeah.
I know I have so many. I think creativity is also part of that, because creativity keeps you rethinking what you're doing, and it gives you solutions, and it keeps you on, beyond the edge. It keeps you ahead of the curve in terms of what you are building.
But you know what also? And didn't you just get an award? Aren't you nominated for one of the most influential people in Boston?
Yeah.
Didn't I read about this? Didn't I see this?
Yeah, Boston Magazine does this year, the most influential Bostonians, and they gave me the recognition, a few years back, and I'm in the list this year. So it's very nice. It's because it's a list of really incredible people, not just accomplished and successful people, but really incredible people that are doing things that are changing to the community and to the city. And so to be a part of that, it's really it's a very, very lovely thing.
That's you, though.
I need to send them flowers. They're very nice. It just
literally
happened.
As we're looking,
it happened
I know. I stalked your social.
Yeah.
I keep tracks on everything. It's one of the many awards you've received. Well, you exhibit all those things. You are an unbelievable person. You are an incredible businessman. You lead an amazing team, and you inspire me all the time.
Oh, Michael, thank you very much.
And I adore you.
I adore you back.
So thank you for letting me flip the script and do this to you.
Let's get a little hug.
I love you. Hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have had hosting this. See you on the next Tequila Chat, and do not forget, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Sound off in the comments. See you soon.